software is nothing but a set of instruction, or I can say it as a set of statement. It will perform a specific task. System software is a hardware dependent and it is not portable. We cannot able to change that from one place to another place here. Computer can able to understand only the binary level languages, that is low level languages, in the format of 0 and 1. Application specific software is used to perform specific task only. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, I want to start with the first session of software concept. Whereas the total weightage of this chapter in the annual exam, 5 marks, only 2 questions you will get, that is in part B 1 question as well as in part C 1 question. For 2 marks 1 question as well as for 3 marks 1 question you will get from this chapter. Whereas on this class, you will come to know regarding the introduction of software. What do you mean by software? Then the types of software. Then introduction to computer languages. Under that, machine level language, assembly level language as well as high level language. Okay, now when you come on software, what do you mean by software? Software is nothing but a set of instruction, or I can say it as a set of statement. It will perform a specific task. When you come on, computer system has 3 components. The first one is hardware component, software as well as user. Then what do you mean by hardware? The hardware is nothing but the physical component of the computer that we can touch and feel is called as hardware. Whichever component we can touch and feel. For example, keyboard, that is a hardware. If I am going to touch a monitor, hardware. It means that hardware is nothing but the physical components, all the physical components of the computer that we can touch and feel is called as hardware. Then when you come on software, software is nothing but a set of statements, set of programs, and it will perform some specific task. Whereas hardware, it consists of physical components of a computer. Whichever component, the physically we can touch and feel is called as hardware. Whereas software is a set of instructions, set of programs that tells the computers to perform an intended task here. Specific task can be performed here. When they come on the components or the major 3 components of the computers are hardware, software and user. Who is the user? The one who uses it, and we are the users here. Then when you come on software, software is broadly classified into 2 categories, namely system software and one more is application software. Software is nothing but set of programs perform the particular task. But when you come on types of software, there are 2 types, system software and one more is application software. Now I am going to explain. Already you come to know computer software is nothing but set of programs, set of instructions. It will perform specific task. When they come on types, there are 2 types. One is application software and one more is system software. Then what do you mean by this application software? The name itself suggesting application. This helps to perform specific applications only. Here under that, application specific as well as general purpose. There are 2 types under application software, application specifics as well as general purpose. But when they come on system software, it is nothing but here the programs are related to system or to perform a specific task. Under that, we have 4 types, language translator, loader and linker, operating system as well as utility software. Then what do you mean by this language translator? This language translator helps to convert the high level language to low level language. Then what do you mean by this high level language as well as low level language? Means computer can able to understand only the binary languages, that is in zeros and ones only it can able to understand all the concept. There usually we cannot able to identify that, we cannot able to write all the binary codes for all the commands. That is very difficult for us also. Here in binary languages, for users it is very difficult. But computer can understand only the binary language. For the sake, we need a language translator. This language translator will transfer the binary level languages. It mainly transfers the high level languages to binary level languages. High level language to binary level languages, that is machine understandable languages. When they come on language translator, there are three types: assembler, compiler, and one more is interpreter. Whereas assembler helps to transfer the assembly level languages to binary level languages. Assembler helps to convert this assembly level languages to binary level languages, whereas compiler is also a software. It translates the high level language to binary level languages. When I come on interpreter, in interpreter also it will transfer the high level language to binary level languages, but in this interpreter it transfers line by line. Whereas compiler helps to transfer the entire program at a time. How many lines you have? All the lines at a time it will take, and it will convert this high level language to low level languages. Whereas assembler helps to convert only the assembly code, that is mnemonics code can be converted here. Next one, when I come on loader as well as linker, loader helps to transfer the program, whereas linker helps to link the modules. Usually we have subprograms, that programs can be linked here by using linkers. When I come on system software, there we have operating system. What do you mean by this operating system? Operating system, here it acts like a mediator between user and computer. When I come on operating system, it manages all the operations like memory management, system management, file management. All the operations are controlled by this operating system only. For which job first priority has to be given, for which job second priority has to be given, everything it manages: the device management, memory management, system management. All the operations are performed by using this operating system. And when they come on different types of operating system, under that Linux, Unix, Windows, all are some example for operating system. Next, we will move on to the utilities software. What is the main use of utility software? Utility software helps to perform supporting functions like antivirus, maintaining whether if you have some viruses in the system that can be reduced by this antivirus, and backup software, whatever data, whatever thing we are lost or deleted, that data can be rebacked by using this backup software. That means utility software acts like a supporting software. Whereas when they come on computer software, application software, system software, under application specific to perform specific job only, whereas general purpose has to perform all type of operations. Whereas system software, language translator, loader, linker, operating system, utility software. Next, one by one we'll move on. First we'll move on system software. What do you mean by this system software? System software is a computer program. It is a program that controls the system hardware and interact with the application software. It can be called as, it's a system program here, especially it is a computer program that controls the system hardware. That means the physical components also it will controls, and also it interact with the application software also. System software is hardware dependent and not portable. System software is a hardware dependent and it is not portable. We cannot able to change that from one place to another place here. Then system software provides a convenient environment for program development and execution. Mainly it provides a convenient environment for programmer as well as to execute the program. But when they come on, system software can be classified into three types. One is language translator, operating system as well as utility software. Whereas already in the diagram you observed system software, language translator, operating system, utility software. Next, when they come on application software that has been written to process, or I can say it as to perform a specific job. The name itself tell you to perform a specific job we need this application software. When they come on application software is written in high-level languages. Instructions are written in high-level languages. That is in general English they used to write all the commands. And with the help of compiler that can be converted into binary languages. It focuses on the application, not on the computing system. What is the application, for which task we are using this? Regarding that, mainly it will concentrate not on which type of program here we are using here. Application software can be classified into two types, application specific as well as general purpose. Whereas application specific, the name itself suggesting that to perform specific work only. Whereas general, here general purpose, all type of operations here we can able to perform. For example, ECG monitoring system. If I am going to consider ECG monitoring system, there I cannot able to perform general operations, only I can able to perform ECG working. Is it? No, that means that can be called as specific purpose. Whereas general purpose like Word, Excel, that can be called as general purpose. Next, when they come on, application specific software is created to execute an exact task. To perform a specific task, we need this application software. Under that, application specific software is used to perform specific task only. It has limited task. Only few tasks it can able to perform. Already I told you, ECG monitoring system. There I can able to perform only ECG processing, but I cannot able to perform like addition, subtraction, multiplication, like that of operations. I cannot able to perform on that. For example, accounting software for maintaining the accounts. This software is used to maintain only the account. From that I cannot able to perform some other operations. Whereas general purpose software is not limited to only one functions. Here many all type of operations we can able to perform. For example, Microsoft Office, under that MS Word, Excel, Tally, Oracle, these are the few general purpose software. Now is it clear for all of you? Next we will move on to the introduction to computer language. What do you mean by this computer language? Already I told you, computer can able to understand only the binary level languages, that is low level languages in the format of 0 and 1. Only the computer can able to understand. The 0 and 1 can be called as binary level languages, low level languages, or I can say it as mission level languages. But when they come on, computer, especially programming languages, is a set of rules called syntax which user has to follow in this to instruct the computer what operation are to be performed here, which type of operation here we are performing. Computer languages are classified into two categories. One is low level languages and one more is high level languages. Already I told you, low level languages, it can be mission level languages or assembly languages or assembly level languages also we can say. But when you come on high level language, under that general purpose language as well as specific purpose languages. Under general purpose languages, Basic, Pascal, C all are example for general purpose languages. But when they come on specific purpose languages, COBOL, Fortran, C++ all are example for specific purpose languages. Next, when they come on mission level languages, what do you mean by mission level languages? For example, if I want to write the character A, then for that 1010 I have to use. For the human beings, it is very difficult. What is the binary value for A, B, C? And if I perform addition or subtraction, multiplication, how to write the command for that, especially in binary format, that is very difficult. Whereas in mission level languages, only we computer can able to understand easily, but for us it is very difficult. For that sake, we need the language translator, already I told you. But when they come on mission level languages, is a fundamental languages of a computer. Binary language is a computer language or mission understandable language. It is written using binary numbers, that is 0 and 1s only. all the instructions, all the data can be written in the combination of zeros and 1 only. A program written in the machine level languages is called machine code. Whatever data, whatever command we have written, that command, especially in binary format, if we written, then it can be called as machine code. The instructions provided in machine languages are directly understood by the computer and converted into electrical signals to run the computer. It means that whatever instructions here were written, that directly computer can able to understand. The computer does not require any translator there. And when they come on advantages as well as disadvantages, it can be directly typed and executed and no compilation or translation is required here. Already I told you, directly whatever instructions we will write, the computer can directly understand. It does not require any translator. But when they come on disadvantages, these instructions are mission dependent. What do you mean by this mission dependent? In mission dependent, if I am going to consider, I am going to type one program in one system, the same code or written is copied and it can be pasted in another system. On that time, it takes lot of time. With that, it will not support for all the operations. It mainly depends on which system we are using. For each and every system, the code sometimes may changes here. And it is difficult to program, modify and debug the errors also. It is very difficult to write the code. First of all, for us, it is very difficult. If I made any mistake while writing 0-1 combination, then it is very difficult to identify. After identification also, correction is also very difficult. That is, debugging of error is also very difficult here. These are the few disadvantages of mission level languages. But when you come on advantages, here directly executed, we does not require any translator. But when you come on disadvantages, it is very difficult to remember us, first of all. If I made any mistake in the code, then identification is also very difficult. After identification, the correction is also very difficult here. Next, when they come on assembly level languages. When they come on languages, I told you 3 types. First one, here, machine level language, assembly level language, and one more is high level languages. But in assembly level languages, all the instructions are written in the format of mnemonics. What do you mean by mnemonics? In this mnemonics, the data can be used or represented by some symbols. For example, mu, A, add, B, store, C. Like this, we are using the command here. First, we will move the A value, then add A value with the B value, then store the result on C value. Like that, we are using some mnemonic symbols here. Whereas assembly level language is a low-level programming language that allows user to write the program using some letters, words and symbols called mnemonics are used here. Some symbol words are used here to represent the code. Whereas in low-level languages, there mainly all the instructions are written in the format of zeros and ones only. But when they come on, a program written in the assembly level languages is called assembly code. Whatever code here we are written, that can be called as assembly code. Whereas here when they come on machine level languages, that can be called as machine code. We used to call it as, if I'm going to write in low level language, that is especially in binary format, that can be called as machine code. But here, if I'm going to write the symbols or program by using assembly level languages, that can be called as assembly code. Now is it clear? Whereas assembler is a software, it transfers or it will convert assembly level language to low level languages. Whereas assembler is a software, it converts assembly level language to low level languages. Now is it clear? In the same way, compiler is also there. Compiler also, it's a software, translator, it transfers the high level languages to low level languages. And one more is there, language translator, that is interpreter. On that interpreter also, it transfers high level language to low-level languages. But what is the difference between assembler, compiler and interpreter? Assembler converts assembly level language to machine understandable language, that is low level languages. Compiler is also software, helps to convert the high level language to low level languages. Interpreter is also a software, but here also it converts high level language to low level language, but line by line. Whereas here it takes the entire program and then it will convert to low level language. Whereas in interpreter, it takes a high level language line by line. First line it will take, then it will convert to binary language, then it will take the second line, then it will convert to that into binary level languages. Whereas when you come on time consumption between compiler and interpreter, the compiler time consumption is very less because it converts the entire program at a time. Whereas interpreter, line by line, it will convert. That's why time consumption will be more in interpreter. And when you come on the testing process, on that time, interpreter is more suitable for testing stages, whereas compiler is not suitable for testing stages. Next, when you come on the advantages as well as the disadvantages of assembly level languages. When you come on advantages, mnemonics code are easy to remember. Here already I told you, if I want to process move, A, add, B, store, D. Then if you observe here, these mnemonics are easy to remember also, and easily we can able to write the code here, and easy to understand. Easily we can able to understand and easy to modify as well as debug. Then what do you mean by this debug? Debug is nothing but correcting the errors. Whatever mistake we have done, that can be identified by using testing process. After testing, the corrections can be done by is nothing but debugging. Debugging is a process of correcting the errors. Whereas here, easy to understand, easy to maintain and easy to identify the mistake, easy to correct that mistake also. But when they come on disadvantages, these languages are the mnemonics are mission dependent. Here, consider the same code, if I am going to write it in another system, then it requires lot of changes. It mainly depends on which type of system we are using. That's why it can be called as mission dependent. Whichever system we are using, only depending upon that system, it will execute. And assembly language program takes longer to code. It takes lot of time here. These are the few disadvantages of assembly level languages. Next, we will move on high level languages. Then what do you mean by this high level languages? This high level language is nothing but general English. Here, for us, it is easy to write the program. Easily we can able to understand and easy to maintain also. If there is a mistake, easily we can correct and easily we can able to identify the mistake as well as we can able to correct that also. But when they come on drawbacks, the computer cannot able to understand that high level languages. On that case, the computer requires a language translator. Whereas high level language means here instructions are written in general English format. High level language designed to make a programming easier through the user familiar English word and symbols. Here general English are used. Whereas in low level languages, 0 and 1s are used. When they come on assembly level languages, mnemonics are used. Whereas in high level languages, general English are used here. High level languages used English like languages which are easy to learn as well as use also. High level languages are mission independent. What do you mean by this mission independent? Consider we have one program. This program I worked in one system. For example, system 1. The same program I am going to copy and paste in another system. Only by little changes or sometimes no need of changes, the same program will work here. That is nothing but mission independent. But when they come on binary level languages as well as assembly level languages, there it is mission dependent. Depending upon the system only, which type of system we are using, depending upon that only we have to write the code. Whereas here it is mission independent. The same program will work in system 1, without making any changes or only little bit of changes, the same program will work in another system. That's why assembly level languages are called as machine dependent. Therefore, a program written for one computer can be executed on different computers with sometimes no need of changing any data, or only slightly modifications may be required here. That's why here it can be called as machine independent language. Next, when they come on advantages as well as disadvantages of high-level languages. High-level languages are machine independent languages. When they come on advantages, machine independent. What do you mean by this machine independent? The same program will work in any other system without making any modification, or it may require only little bit of modification, and easy to learn as well as understand here. Easily we can learn and easily we can able to understand. Easy to modify and debug the program. If I want to make some changes, easily I can make the changes, I can able to modify the content. If there is a mistake, I can able to correct that mistake also. Debugging is also very easy. But when they come on disadvantages, high-level languages is slower in execution. Why it is slower? Because this high-level languages, when I want to work on that high-level languages, computer cannot able to understand. That we have to convert into binary languages. For the sake, we need a compiler to convert this high-level language to machine understandable language. Then it requires time here, slower. Time requirement will be more here. High-level languages requires a compiler to convert source code to object code. Here, it requires a compiler, software, language translator to convert this source code. Source code is nothing but here high-level languages. That has to be converted into object code, that is nothing but low-level languages. Here high-level language is nothing but source code, whereas low-level language is nothing but object code. Here we have to convert this high-level language to low-level languages or binary-level languages. High-level languages take more time to execute and requires more memory here. It requires more space, more memory is required, and time requirement will be more. It is slower. These are the few drawbacks of this high-level languages. Now is it clear for all of you? It means that on today's class you come to know already regarding what do you mean by software. Under that, system software, application software, the classification of application software as well as system software. Then what do you mean by machine level languages, high level languages as well as assembly level languages. Then what do you mean by utility software? Why we require this utility software? Regarding that you came to know. Then in the next class you will come to know regarding high level language take more time to execute and requirement of memory is also more here. Next class will meet you once again with the remaining concept of the same chapter. Thank you for all of you.